And he said, I received a lot of phone calls of congratulations, but I feel a very strong feeling of a huge sense of responsibility. I felt I had to prove myself. I have to prove to my to people who support me. So that's Wayne. And then a brief introduction for YK also. So YK is running for the city council of Folsom City in California. That's going to happen next year. All right. So he said, if I win next year, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call my wife, and I'm going to call CC, which is here. All right. Without further ado, Wayne, please.
So we get the toughest spot because it's right after lunch.
It's a good spot.
So we'll try to keep you awake. And I wasn't expecting to do this, but I'm very grateful for the opportunity to contribute. And I think that this is to give you good lessons. There's no free lunch, so you have to work. The reason why I've come to a lot of these type of events, I know a lot of these issues. I know about voter education, about the statistics, and all that, and how to run a campaign. I ran 3 campaigns. The first time I lost very narrowly, and then the second time I ran and got the most votes, and that's how I became mayor. And second time, I got reelected. And it's very tough because I'm the only Asian on the council, and being Asian is true. We're always faced with the fact that we have to do 10 times more work to be recognized. And then if there's ever a hiccup, you're the first to be blamed. And because you look different than everybody else in you might look different than everybody else in your community. Even though my community is 60% Asian, it's 80% on the council is white, and about 75% of our staff is white. So that's a real challenge for myself. And when I was elected, there were many Asian electeds, myself and Mayor Ray Boone Ventura back there. We were one of the few mayors and council members in our county. So our county was predominantly a bedroom community. Even though it has the highest GDP in the nation, it was a bedroom community, and a lot of Asians were moving in, so changing the demographics of our county, but yet there still weren't that many Asians elected in our county. So that added the pressure for me, and I know for Ray, that we needed to represent our communities, not only just the Asian community, but our diverse communities. And we needed to be more inclusive, and we needed to show that we can do things. So first thing when I got elected, I started planning when I was going to be mayor. I was going to be mayor in 3 years, but it ended up I became mayor after a year and a half because one of my colleagues passed away. So all my plans to do these things when I'm mayor. So this is a lesson for anybody who runs for council for anything. Actually, is when you become a council member, you should have a plan to what you're going to do. You shouldn't just walk in there thinking, I'm going to make changes and things like that, because that doesn't happen right away. First of all, you have to get 3. You have to know how to count to 3. That's the most important thing you need to learn, how to count to 3 if you have a 5-member council, or whatever the majority. If you have a 7-member council, you need to count to 5, right? Or 4, right? So you need to be able to not only work with and build bridges and have a good relationship with your fellow council members or legislators. You have to have those allies, because without those allies, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to be voted 1 to 4 or whatever every time. So you have to have a plan. You have to not only have a plan, you have to have buy-in. So for me, it's changed a bit. First, when I first got elected, it was about doing the basics, infrastructure, safety, and all those things. So first of all, whenever you interview when people ask, they're going to ask you why you run, don't say you want to make a difference. Never say that. Okay, that's just what everybody says. It says like, I want to make a difference. I want to give back to my community. That's what everybody says. You need to be specific. You need to say, what are you going to do to make a difference in your community? And I cannot tell. And people call me and say, well, what should I do in my community? So I had a cousin call me from New York. Giving me advice. I say, you need to know what your community wants and needs. Every community is different. I was just talking to another council member. Their issue is roosters. You know, every community is different. You have to know your community. So, but my challenge was, how was I going to get, because after a while, there was some resentment coming towards Asians, because I've been in my city for 38 years. I've seen it change from mostly white to 60% Asian, and all Asian restaurants. Have you ever been to Milbrea? Have you ever been to San Francisco? Everybody gone to San Francisco Airport? You ever eaten around San Francisco Airport? That's Milbrea. And Milbrea has 12 Michelin restaurants, and they're all Chinese restaurants. And at one time, they tried to pass an ordinance to restrict restaurants, and we knew they were going after the Chinese restaurants. It was just one of those undercurrent things that they're trying to do. So what I did, with the help of my friend Ray, being Ventura, and other electeds, is to create a caucus for our county, Asian caucus, to band together, to work together. So this is why it's relevant why you're here, because we need, as the API caucus, as much as we are diverse, Koreans, Filipinos, Indians, Chinese, Vietnamese, we are recognized as one minority. That's how they look at us. And they also know that if they split us up and separate us, we have no power. And that's why when we formed the San Mateo County Caucus, first thing we said was, we're all committed to partnering. No matter how much difference we had between our cultures, we were going to be a band of brothers and sisters. We were not going to be separated. And they're doing that in Milbrea right now. They're trying to pit the Taiwanese against the Chinese, against the Hong Kong people. They were succeeding. And that's one of the things that I have. That's one of the things that keeps me up, is to try to keep all the different cultures together, and to let them know that, hey, the more separate, the people who are going against the Asian, because there is a faction that are anti-Chinese, anti-Asian in my city. And it's very embarrassing, because you would think in San Francisco area, you would be much more, but there is a big backlash against Asians. And I don't think anybody here, and it's really tough for me, because most of your votes are going to be non-Asians. So you have to also tread that thread very carefully. And you have to, I can't stand out and say, I can't support China, even though China is California's #1 trading partner. I can't go up there and say, defend a communist state, even though that communist state is no longer the communist state that it used to be in the 50s. Some people still want to use that. And then there's my Taiwanese friends who are really angry at China. So those are the types of things. What I'm trying to do is voter education. We're doing voter education. We're getting out the vote. We're getting the census. We formed this caucus to do that. And one of the reasons why we formed a caucus is because one of these meetings in California called CalNet, which some of you probably have gone to, run by Apex and CalNet from Ron Wong. So I think I spoke enough. If you want to speak to me later, we can talk about some other issues, and I can also give you some of my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. I know Mayor said very well. I thought of saying some of those, but he said everything. So I'll make my meeting more short. But one thing I want to, about to say, why do you want to run? To make a difference, right? No, he is very, very true. That's what I want to say, but I'm not going to say now after he is next to me. Anyway, my name is YK Chalamacharla. YK, I made it easy. And I came to this country as an immigrant on a visa during Y2K. I hope you all know that computer problems, right? And Y2K. YK came to US during Y2K. That's my opening speech everywhere. And people start laughing. Right? My main thing is connecting to the people. YK. Ooh, catchy name. Because when the ballot is coming, how many people really has done the homework and read about the issues, read about the candidate's bio, or, man, that's a cool name, check. How many people? Several people, in my opinion, that, oh, this is a very funny name, like a skinny guy, Obama says, right? So whatever, I think putting the name into the mind is the number one. Very important. My mentor said, whether you win or lose, I don't care, but people has to remember your name. That helps you for next level. Just not remembering the name. This is where I'm going to go and align with Mayor. Knowing the problems of the local communities. Very, very, very important. Looking at me, hey, Indian guy. Before even people call Indian guy, oh, he's IT guy. He won't say Indian guy, he's IT guy. So I took some of those as my favor. How do we make the technology more useful to preventing or proactively identifying the issues and crimes happening in schools, public safety? How do we network all the city into cameras? Every home has. So I picked at least 3 items to defend myself and make a difference. I think that's where I'm learning from the mayor. But even though I ran last year, now I'm coming back to the facts. 12 people ran in city of Folsom for 3 spots. I'm the first time runner. By putting my ducks in row, I'm almost won, but not. Right? That's okay. After listening to most of the people, that's how politics are. The person who is not winning first time, he is becoming a better politician because he is learning from his mistakes. But certainly, my constitution has 80+% the local Caucasian community. Minorities are very small number. Bringing them to vote is the biggest one. Believe me, even today, when I ran the numbers, 38% of the API did not vote. At least I was able to pull 62. 38% did not vote. If they might have voted, I might have won in last election. So bottom line, so having this kind of forums and making them educate one way or another is very important. Believe me. And of course, I didn't get this thought by myself. When I was living in Sacramento area, then I was introduced to APAPA 7 years ago. That was my seed. And as I'm growing in APAPA in different levels, CLUSA has been introduced again. Civic leadership and engaging ourselves and representing ourselves at the table. Otherwise, we all say, right, you will be on the menu. So those are the things. Again, putting your name, very important. Identifying their problems, super important. Bringing everybody to vote is extremely important. Those are the winning strategies. But what did I learn after I lost? Right? Penetrating into the local communities. 80% is white. How do I get into those local communities? That's what I am trying to do. And I know where I got the lowest votes, where I got the most votes. You all know where I got the most votes, right? So most of the APIs wants brand new homes, and that community is always, API community, I got most. But old towns, I got very less votes. I think that's my number one focus right now, investing my time in old towns, and I'm preparing myself for, again, Folsom City elections in 2020 November. And last time, it was 12 people ran for 3 spots. I become a 4th. By learning everything from these kind of forms and learning from people like a mayor. And next time, I don't want to be the, again, almost won, but not. As he said, I must win with the highest votes. That's my aim. And why we want to win, that's again, this forum is telling, I don't want to repeat, to make the things we are learning and putting into practicals and making it truth. It shouldn't be a dream. It should be reality. That's why my passion is, and serving our community is another passion. With that, I think we are going to pause. They gave us, very generous for the organizers here.